In this video, I want to talk about the science behind having sex before marriage. So I did my research and I found a lot of things, and I'm just going to share with you what I found. So let's start with the basics. The number one thing that we have to recognize is that human beings are fundamentally hardwired for intimacy. Some systems in our brain move us towards mating, and other systems make us connect with one person together for life. We have these natural tendencies to just mate and also to want to connect with someone for life, and we have to recognize that it's hardwired in our biology to do so. Building upon this, we have something called bonding chemicals. When a man and a woman has sex, vasopressin is the predominant hormone that gets released in men, and oxytocin is the predominant hormone that gets released in females. When these hormones are released, you basically start to bond with that person. You start to see them as more close than they really are because you're having sex with them. These hormones actually fool us to think that, oh, I'm actually close to this person. But what happens is, if you keep doing this, let's say you do it with one person, you bond with them, then you break off with them, do it with another person, and then another person, and another person, your capacity to bond strongly to the next person diminishes. It's almost like a tape. So, if I apply tape here and then remove it and then apply and then remove it again, the amount of times I will keep doing that, the weaker the tape is going to become. The more I do it, the weaker the tape becomes. And that's how human bonding also plays out. So now that we know that we crave intimacy, we want to not only mate with someone, but also create lifelong connections with people, and that we have different bonding chemicals. Males have vasopressin and females have oxytocin, and how it all works together and how bonding can be damaged, we can get into what happens if someone does decide to have sex before marriage. So let's say if someone does have sex before marriage, they have 20% less likeliness of having relationship satisfaction, 12% worse communication patterns, 22% more consideration of divorce, and 15% less sexual quality. Contrary to the popular opinion that practice makes us perfect. The longer a couple waits to have sex, the better their relationship is after marriage. So if they actually figure out that, okay, are we compatible outside of sex? Forget the sex part. Are we compatible without the sex part, which is going to be most of your life, by the way. Most of your life, you're not going to have sex. If we are, and then they build upon that by having sex, that seems to be a better relationship as opposed to starting with sex and then trying to bond later. Rapid sexual involvement has adverse long-term implications for relationship quality. Delaying sexual involvement is associated with higher relationship quality across several dimensions. So now you might ask, why is it the way it is? Why can't we just have sex and then also be able to just bond with someone? Because they could be like two separate things. Well, I will answer that question, but before, if you're liking the video so far, please give it a like. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm and I appreciate the effort. So why is it the way it is? Well, there are two reasons. One reason is intentional partner selection, and the second reason is sexual symbolism. Intentional partner selection. Sex releases bonding chemicals that make us overlook deeper incompatibilities in a relationship, the honeymoon phase. So what happens is when you're having sex, you're kind of blinded by all the hormones that are in your head, and you feel so much closer to that person than you actually are, that it actually diminishes your ability to actually bond with a partner on an emotional level or on a more intimate level. You just feel like you're connected to this person, but you're not really connected because the sex hormones are driving you crazy. Sexual symbolism. If sex is the only link, the relationship won't last when real life problems arise. If let's say you're only having sex with someone, then what's going to happen is, yes, you're having sex with them, but there's also all this other time where you could be doing other things. Usually people, when they're having sex with each other on a regular basis, they're probably in each other's apartments and they're doing other activities together, like moving furniture or just maybe having breakfast or whatever, all those other activities, but their primary connection is only sex. The relationship doesn't seem to last because they don't have any other foundation except for sex. Emotional intimacy is the basis of sexual intimacy. What that means is, if on the other hand, people first establish emotional intimacy and then move on to sexual intimacy, that seems to keep people closer for a longer time because their foundation is not just sex, their foundation is also emotional. And regardless of how you see it, if you're only having sex with a person and you don't like them on an emotional level or even on a value system level, then the relationship is not going to last and you're not even going to have sex with them. When sex is prioritized first, there's no time to build emotional intimacy. So what a lot of people do is they first get into bed and have sex, and then they think about, oh, maybe we should also build some foundation on emotional intimacy. And then it turns out that the other person has completely different values. They are probably not as emotionally stable as people might have thought when they initially met. Now they've already had sex. So it's all just a complete confusion of sexual hormones, not having enough connection with the partner, not having enough emotional intimacy. And that's why we see so many couples breaking up today. So now that we know how all of this works, is there hope? Let's say maybe you've had sex with too many people. Is there hope for you? The answer is yes. What the article said that was, if you prioritize emotional intimacy first and then have sex, you have a better chance of actually having a long-lasting relationship. The article talks about a guy who was actually terrified that because of his past choices, he won't be able to have a relationship with someone that he truly deserves. He actually thought that he didn't deserve a wife like that because of his sexual past. When he actually focused on emotional intimacy first and then went on to the sex part, he is in a successful relationship and they also have a kid together. So what's the conclusion of this? Well, if you are looking to have a long-term partner in the future, you're better off not having sex with many people, and even with your long-term partner, not having sex initially. You're better off dating them, getting to know them, building an emotional connection with them, or maybe even discussing your values, and then moving on to the sex part. Delaying sex is related to more satisfaction in relationships. I've given you all the facts. This is the science behind sex before marriage. Do whatever you want to with this information. If I were you, I would personally just delay sex the way it is, and the way all the religions do it. I think they're doing the right thing, and even the science is somewhat agreeing with that. I'm going to link the article where I got this from. The psychologist's name is Dr. Andrew Majors. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, doctor, and I would love to talk to you actually. That is the article. I'm going to link it. That article also has other links where you can go and you can verify all the information. It also links to a book called Hooked, which I'm going to read, and I might revisit this topic after I gain more knowledge from that book. So that was it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. If you want to watch more videos like this, subscribe to the channel, comment down below, and I'll see you all in the next video. Later.